You're listening to the Weekend Sport Podcast with Jason Pine from News Talk ZB.
Wellington Phoenix back in action tonight, and as Lee said, I always thought ladies before gentlemen, Elliott, so my ears went up when you said Phoenix men first. Then the women, very curious. The men from 4:30, the women from 7:15 tonight at Go Media Stadium, Mount Smart. Rylee Foster is the Wellington Phoenix first choice goalkeeper. She played a bit for Liverpool. And then in 2021, you might have heard about this when she signed, her life was turned upside down. She was flung through the windscreen of a car while on holiday with friends in Finland during an international break in 2021. She broke her neck in 7 places, had to wear one of those halo devices for half a year to prevent the risk of paralysis. She was told she'd never play football again, yet here she is at the Wellington Phoenix, and she joins us in studio at News Talk ZB. Rylee, thanks so much for your time with us on Weekend Sport.
Yeah, thanks for having me. How are you?
Really good, thank you. Welcome to Auckland as well, which is the Phoenix's second home at the moment, although there might be some changes about that in the future, but how exciting to be in Auckland.
Yeah, it's nice. It's definitely fun to still be in the country, but bringing our team and our brand to a new city, although it's not the second time, but it's nice to do it, especially at the time when the A-League is expanding into New Zealand. So we get to kind of put our last imprint on the team and on the country and keep the Phoenix as New Zealand's team. What's
been your impression so far of the A-League as a competition and the fact that it goes over 2 countries, but coming from Canada and also playing in the UK as well, but it's been your impression of the quality of the A-League?
Yeah, you know what? I was actually surprised. When I came in here, I was very naive. I didn't know much about what was to come, but to my surprise, it's been great. The competition's amazing. I like how every game is a matchup, and you don't know who's going to kind of come up with the 3 points or 1 point. And it's a battle. And I think the schedule is also interesting with the travel and whatnot. It's a different challenge, especially for a New Zealand team. But for me, I've enjoyed it. And specifically the Phoenix, we're a very tactical and technical group. And I wasn't expecting that at all. Obviously, our history hasn't been the brightest, but to see the run that Temple's brought us into this season, it's been amazing. So, yeah, I'm really impressed, and I'm enjoying myself here.
How have you found the travel, obviously, a bit different going from playing for Liverpool and going around England to jumping on a plane, having to go through passport and all that other thing on the other side? What's that like?
I don't mind it. I mean, I'm quite fortunate. Prior to my professional career, when I was in college in the States, every away game in the Big 12 was at least a 3-hour flight. So that was quite nice, although those flights might have been chartered at times. I kind of got used to it. But for me, I think I prefer a quick travel of 4 hours versus like an 8-hour bus ride down to the south of the UK. So for me, it just doesn't really affect me too much. I know it is a hard time for some girls, but I don't mind it. I get to see new places. I mean, like, I get to tell my parents, I'm just hopping over to Australia this weekend. And, that's so weird to say coming from North America. So I'm loving it. 3
wins, 2 losses so far this season. Where do you think the team's at?
Yeah, I think we're in a good place. I mean, obviously last weekend we took a hit and we didn't perform the way we all want to perform, and myself specifically. It wasn't my best game. But the attitude coming into this week and ready for today's matchup, is literally one of the best attitudes I've seen of the group so far, and we know how good we can be. We haven't even reached our top potential this season. That's what's so scary, but also so amazing about the group. I think for us, it's those moments where we have taken the loss. It's been a humbling moment. We needed those knockbacks because you can get high up on your high horse really, really quick in this league and in this sport in general. So I think it's good. Energized, ready to go for this game coming up, and yeah.
Did you feel like expectations, I know you went there in previous seasons, but expectations changed pretty quickly? You put 3 wins in a row on the board, then all of a sudden you lose last week, and it's like, back down to earth a little bit. Do you feel like maybe expectations have gone quite quickly, and as you said, maybe that we knockback might just reset you for this next group of games?
I reckon the expectations would be external. I think we all know what we expect of ourselves, and they will never be knocked back. We want to perform at the highest level, and we have goals to be one of the best teams in this league, and it is attainable. But when you get the outside voices talking about how, it's the same old Wellington team, I think that's when we struggle with a bit of the disrespect. But a lot of us, we don't really listen to that kind of stuff. I think it's important to stay humble and keep everything in-house, because at the end of the day, you can only do so much about those results. And yeah, like you said, it does knock you back a little bit, but it's not like a knockback as in hold on, we got to reset everything. It's just a knockback saying we still have so much to learn, and the gates are wide open, and every team is up for something in this league. And, although we had a really good beginning, 3 games on the bounce, there's still more to come, and this is a long season. It's longer than normal for these girls. So, yeah, it's just about taking each game in stride and learning from the last game and applying it to the next.
Macy Fraser sort of had a couple of weeks where she was the talk of everyone in New Zealand over after that goal. What have you made of playing alongside her and maybe her potential in terms of women's football?
Macy excites me. She's so exciting. I think that kid has no idea how good she really is. And I call her a kid because I literally think she's like my little sister. I treat her like that. And I take her under my wing, but she's a special player. And I think she's now has the right coach around her who's going to project her forwards. I think her ceiling's like infinite. She's not going to just settle for the next little thing. I think she's a player that we can see overseas. She's a player that's going to be representing the Ferns, I think, in the next few years consistently. But she's going to be one of those special talents. We know Annalie Longo is probably one of the most technical players in New Zealand, but Macy Fraser's knocking on that door. And I think to see what she does week in and week out, how hard she works in the training pitch, and then what she's pulling off against girls who are sometimes 10 years older than her, 6 years older than her, and scoring worldies easily at a young age like that, it's exciting for me.
For you personally, what's it been like coming back and playing the A-League after all you've been through over the last couple of years?
Yeah, it's been different. I think this is my first season probably ever in my life where I'm actually happy. And I think that's a powerful statement because you would think, I mean, I played at the highest level. I've played for my national team. I've played for Liverpool. But for me now, I'm actually enjoying the game. I'm playing with so much freedom. And just this weight's lifted off my chest. And it's confusing to me how that works, but I guess when you fly out a windshield and you survive the Grim Reaper, you just have this different outlook on life. And that's how I feel right now. And I have a great group around me, a great support staff, great management team. And personally, I'm honestly the happiest version of myself, and I'm enjoying the competition in the A-League. And I find it a good challenge for me to get my career revamped up.
You've obviously talked a lot about that accident. Do you get it sick of talking about it, or are you comfortable with it being part of your story and sort of being attached to every time you mentioned in every interview that you do, like right now?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Like, everyone has a story. I think for me, yes, it does get a little bit heavy at times, especially when it's the same thing over and over again. But to me, I try to reframe that mindset into the fact that I'm helping people out. My story is inspiring other people. But it also inspires myself. It's a good reflection process. Every time someone asks me about what it was like, I get to reflect on how hard and what the journey was like to get to where I am now. But I do want people to know me as the independent individual that I am, not only the footballer, not only the person that was injured, but I learned so much about myself with the accident. So I try to shine light on that and give my personality to the people as much as I can. What
are your goals in terms of football, getting back to international football? What goals do you have with the Phoenix this season? Where do you want to go take your career from here?
I think priority number one is Phoenix. We have a really big potential, like I've said before, about getting into the playoffs this season. And I think that's what I want to do. I want to get us the most historical moments we can in this club and do my part in whatever means that might be. Stay healthy as well. I mean, coming back from being off for 2 years is never easy for the body. And I think my body's screaming at me right now and telling me to take a rest. But obviously that's not going to happen. But yeah, the end goal is international football. I set it to myself, kind of like between myself and my family, that my ultimate goal is to get back for the Paris Olympics. And I'm doing everything in my power to make sure that I'm fit for that and performing well and kind of knocking on the door of the national team, making sure I'm sending the messages and sending my footage across. But it would be an absolute honor to be back with the Maple Leafs and, yeah, to wear the shirt again. But although that's in my focus, it's also kind of pushed to the side while I focus on the Phoenix and making sure that I'm giving my 100% for them and bettering myself.
Perth Glory tonight, they're top of the table. What's it going to take to take them down tonight? I
think it's just going to be like any other team. It's going to be a big matchup, very direct game we're expecting from them. But at the end of the day, although they're top, it doesn't mean anything. They've had a different group, a different set of games than we have. And unlike them, we haven't had to travel. And they've had that long 9-hour journey to get here. A late arrival the other day at 12 a.m. in the morning. So we have the upper hand. This is our home. Although we're in Auckland, we have our fans and our Kiwi supporters. So for us personally, it's just getting at them early, the first 10, 15 minutes, like we always do to every team, and kicking up from there and just getting the result that we need.
Good chance to convert some Aucklanders to the Phoenix before that new team hits the ground.
That's the game. That's what we want. I think with the new team coming in, it's exciting for the game of football in this country, but at the end of the day, we want to keep our supporters. So we're going to put on a good show for them and make sure that they walk away with a memory that will last forever.
Rylee Foster joining us on News Talk ZB, the Wellington Phoenix women's goalkeeper. They're in action this evening, double header, the Macca's Festival of Football at Go Media Stadium, Mount Smart.
For more from Weekend Sport with Jason Pine, listen live to News Talk ZB weekends from midday or follow the podcast on iHeartRadio.